Fox delivering the knees, and that's it. Fallon Fox. Holy cow.
Championship tournament fight. The winner by knockout, Fallon Queen of Swords Fox.
How you feeling right now?
I'm feeling excellent. That was sweet, huh? Did you like that? Yeah! And I want to tell everyone else, I'm coming in this tournament. Every woman in this tournament better look out.
This is ridiculous. You can't tell me this isn't ridiculous. You know, right here in 2 Thessalonians 2, 9 and 12, we read, "The coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders, and with all unrighteous deception among those who perish, because they did not receive the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this reason, God will send them strong delusion, that they should believe the lie, that they will be condemned, who do not believe the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness." This is prophecy of what is going on today. Delusion, strong delusion that is sent from God as judgment for those who reject the truth of his word. And you know what? It's not just this man that is pretending, is dressing like a woman and is beating up women. It's not just him, it's the people that are participating in it that are also deluded. These people have a strong delusion, and they actually believe that there's some kind of truth or there's some kind of way to justify what he's choosing to do. There's some kind of way they believe they're deluded into thinking that he has some kind of point when he wants to call himself a woman. He is not a woman. Plain and simple, he's a man. In the beginning, God made them male and female. The further we move away from the truth of God's word, the crazier things are going to get. People think that it's okay to kill little babies. People think they don't know who they are. This is delusion, and it's very strong, and it's sent from God as judgment. You know, a lot of people, they hear people say stuff like this, and they're like, "Oh, well, you know, you're being judgmental." And the Bible tells us very clearly that he that turns a sinner from the error of his way will save a soul from death. You know, there's a way to judge people. There's a righteous judgment and there's unrighteous judgment. Unrighteous judgment is hypocritical judgment, and judgment done from a high place thinking that you're better, or from doing it for evil intentions. But the problem is the common person is not going to know the difference. They don't know whether you're doing it from love. They don't know whether you're doing it because you're trying to obey God, or if you're just trying to be messy, or if you're just so high and mighty. Our theology is what will help us to judge correctly and righteously. You know, here's a few verses to help us understand that even though we see this craziness going on in this world, and we should speak out on it, because some people are deluded. Some people have been sent this delusion to think that there's something okay about this. So we do have to speak up, and we have to be the counterculture. We have to be the light and the salt in the world. And salt irritates, and light shows us flaws. It shows us things that we didn't notice that are being done in the dark. So we have to be the light and the salt in the world, and this is what we're called to do as Christians. You know, but we have to remain humble as Christians and remember that every single thing that we have comes from God. And this is why we cannot judge in a place of thinking that we ourselves are better. We know that everything came from God. So we can simply, out of love, show people their errors, show people where they're wrong, but then also remain humble and know that if it wasn't for God's grace, we would be right there with them. Right here in James 1:17, we read, every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. In 1 Corinthians 4:7, for who makes you to differ from another? And the answer there is God. And what do you have that you did not receive? And the answer is nothing. Every single thing we receive, every single part of our personality, everything about us was outside of our control. All these things God has a control over. So we have to remain humble and remember that everything we receive came from God. Now, if you did indeed receive it, why do you boast as if you had not received it? If every good and perfect gift comes from God, that also applies to our desires. It also applies to our interests. It also applies to every good social gift we have. every good mental capacity we have, every single thing. So when we remember this, we're able to stay humble, but we're also able to stay loving. And although the world believes it's being loving by assisting people in their delusions, we know better. We know that the truth is love. There is love in the truth, and the truth will set you free. People are captive to these delusions, and it's our job as Christians to let people know the real deal. You are not a woman because you call yourself one. You are not a man because you call yourself one. As you were created, as you came out of the womb, is who you are. And when you stand before God, we will answer to him and have to give a reason why we believed what he created wasn't good enough and we had to alter it. Something to think about.